Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Boss from Home, your go-to online platform to find work from home, remote jobs, online jobs, jobs that you can do in person, jobs that you can do to make more money and help your financial situation. So we love sharing free resources, help, and tools over here on this channel, but today I have a special treat for you guys. So have you been thinking about switching up careers, maybe breaking into a new industry, but you don't know where to start? In today's video, I sat down with someone who has recently turned her career upside down, starting with absolutely no technical experience, no experience at all, and now she is flourishing in her dream role with a great salary, and she's ready to spill all the beans with us. Today we're talking about what her life looked like before she got started, why she chose this particular career path, what the entire journey looked like, how she landed her role. We're talking her salary, her work-life balance, and we're sharing a few career tips for those of you who are interested in getting into the same field or something similar. We are talking about her entire story. So if you're wondering whether breaking into a different industry is really worth it this year, and if you really can get hired without any experience, then this video is just for you. So we are jumping into her entire story. Let's get started. Let's dive right in. So just to kick things off, please introduce yourself. What were you doing before you got into tech? If you have any experience, or was this just a complete career shift for you?
So my name's Eva. I'm 33. I came to the US 4.5 years ago, and I had no tech background at all. I work mostly in media or finance. So when I first came here, my first jobs were finance, like AR collections, but that wasn't something I liked, enjoyed, and simply I couldn't learn anything new. So I feel like I'm, not really growing. That's why I got into tech to starting completely new career, start from scratch with no background, nothing. Just go with the flow.
That's amazing. Wow, I commend you. That's awesome. Okay, so when you actually first started thinking about getting into tech, did you have any doubts or any challenges that came up against you when you started?
Sure, I had a lot of that. Like starting a new career is always stressful. Looking for a job nowadays is stressful,
Mhm.
regardless of the field. I was afraid I won't be able to understand the scope of work, or if the learning process will be too difficult. It will be difficult to manage full-time job and learning, or the job process itself will be stressful. That I will have that syndrome that this is not it. That they know that I have no background, and that was a lot. But once I started learning, I got a lot of support from teachers, from other graduates, that were showing us their stories. They also started from nothing. And I had amazing career coach that, not only helped me get ready for the interviews, but mostly supported me when I had moments when, this is not it, it's not working. So that support I received from the community and the teachers was great.
It's great. And yes, I absolutely agree with you that today's job market is really difficult. People are finding it really difficult just to land an interview. So in your case, you had someone helping you navigate the entire process, even the doubts or the rejections that you might have had to deal with. So that I find that to be really great, that you had some support in all of this. So when you were weighing out your options, we always have the options to do the traditional route, which is college, right? On one hand, but you've done this boot camp on another. So why did the boot camp route feel like a better path for you to get into tech?
I already had, 5 years of university behind me. And even though I studied, I did not land a job right away after school. I did not work in the field I studied. So I felt like going back to school would be kind of, again, risk and waste of time, waste of money. I wanted something that would give me the needed skills, experience, and kind of mindset to start a career right now. And bootcamp was a great option because it was focused on very practical learning skills. There was internships and was led by people who work in the field actively. So they know how the business work. They know what's changing. They gave a lot of their own personal perspective, that also could be like useful for me. I could learn from them. So in general, it's just time wise, it was just a better move to go with the bootcamp and learn specific skills for the specific job that kind of create a career path like right now.
Yes, absolutely. So did you consider any other boot camps when you were thinking about getting into tech, or was it just Careerist that struck your attention?
I did a little bit of a research because, I thought it's like a little bit too good to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did the research. I watched stories from people that went through. I spoke to people that went through this bootcamp, and they all were like having the same, story as me. Started from nothing, no technical background. Some of them didn't even speak proper English, but they succeeded. So I was like, well, it works. Maybe it worked for me. And I really like that technical approach that there were people that help you, teach you, you could practice the skills you've learned. And the fact that the career coaching was also included in this, that support getting ready with the resume, LinkedIn, and also prepping for each interview that was, specifically created for that company. My career coach was helping me, researching the company. So it wasn't just like typical questions, like you can find in Google, but it was very tailored to the specific company. I think that was a big part of my success.
And I love that you talk about your ability to overcome, where you got started. Sometimes it's not where you got started, but where you end up. And so you mentioned that you got started with lack of resources, I'm sure, and you completely pivoted into tech, and now you're finding yourself in your dream role. So I find that to be very amazing. I commend you on that. That's a huge feat, first of all, to overcome your past and now get into a space that a lot of people want to get into, but they don't quite know. And you're living your dream life while working within this tech field. So I commend you very much. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so if you're breaking into QA without a traditional technical background, your resume really matters. You guys know I talk about this ad nauseum, but here are 3 simple resume tips that will help you to stand out and get interviews within this field. Tip number 1, you want to start with a strong summary. So your resume should open with a short summary that highlights, number 1, your transferable skills, number 2, your QA training or bootcamp experience, number 3, your eagerness to learn. So for example, you could simply say something along the lines of detail-oriented professional with a background in customer service and recent QA training through Careerist. You can also talk about you're skilled in identifying bugs, writing test cases, and using tools like Jira, TestRail, eager to contribute to quality first teams and ensure seamless user experiences. And you definitely want to keep it short, but remain impactful. So the second tip is to add a project section. So even if you have not worked in QA as yet, you can still show what you have done within the Careerist platform. So add a section called projects and include things like maybe your self-practice work or the bootcamp assignments that you've undergone, testing real websites on your own. And so here's an example of what that looks like. So you can say e-commerce website testing. You wrote 25 plus manual test cases for login, cart, and checkout flows. You also logged bugs using Jira, and you did cross-browser testing with Browser Stack. Just a few tools that you would be using, but this helps hiring managers see that you are taking action even before you landed your very first job. Third tip is to use keywords from the job description. We talk about this a lot. Many companies are using applicant tracking software systems. This filters out resumes based on keywords, so you need to know how to pass through. Here's a trick. So copy the job listing, look for any repeated keywords like test cases or regression testing, maybe Jira, some of the software you're using, Agile, and then add those words naturally throughout your resume, especially in your skills section and the bullet pointed points. So this will help your resume actually reach human eyeballs, which is the whole point, right? So just a quick recap. You want to start with a strong summary, Add a project section to show your real work experience and match your resume to the job with the right keywords. So simple tweaks like these can be the difference between no response from some companies and landing your very first interview.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, so now that you've taken that leap of faith and you enrolled, what would you say was the biggest benefit to you as you got started doing the boot camp?
I would say the flexibility of learning. I could watch classes, because they were like late night. So I could watch them live, speak to the teachers, ask questions. But also I could go back, and rewatch the videos. Even when I, finished, and I had my internship or even work, I was kind of able to go back to this, and rewatch classes. If something was not really, ringing the bell, I could always go back and check it out. And also the fact that the teachers were there even, after the learning process. We connected on LinkedIn, just what other people that was helpful to build your network, and got into the uh, in the QA industry and kind of match with other people and see their experience and learn from that. I think that was a big part of like my success. I saw it happening. I got actual advice from people who do it all the time, and I could implement that also in my own journey.
So you mentioned QA. I don't think we touched on this, but could you tell us a little bit about QA? What is it? What exactly do you do? It's a field that a lot of people are looking into, but I know some of my audience may not know what it is. Maybe they might be curious to know what it is. Can you just give us a quick snapshot of what it is that you do during the day? What it looks like. Just give us kind of a quick snapshot of your day in the life.
So I'm a manual QA, which means I test manually the quality of the apps. So basically the functionality of the apps, how it looks, how it feels, to make sure we not only deliver good quality, but also user experience is important. That user is happy with the end product. So on a daily basis, I write test scripts, test cases for, test those specific functions of the app, to test how it looks. If I find any issues, I speak to the dev team, to the product managers to verify whether it's a bug, it's expected, or, how severe it is. Then if there's a bug, it's being fixed, I have to retest it. And that's pretty much day to day. Collaborate with the big team to get the end result.
Thank you so much for letting us know that, because sometimes when like here on this channel, I love to share different jobs that are currently hiring, and we often see QA testing, like testing out apps, testing out different features of technology. And so it's great that you broke it down from your standpoint, someone who's actually in the field. So thank you so much for letting us know that, and that it's actually attainable to the people that are watching this right now that are curious to get into QA testing. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so can you break down what the program was like? Can you let us know the learning phase, the internship, even some of the career coaching, how long it took? Can you let us know, kind of give us a quick synopsis of that?
Yes, so I think the whole journey for me was about 6 months. It started with 12 weeks of just the learning part. That was, I think, 3 times a week, 2 hours, 3 times a week. After the learning process was done, I had 2 internships, internal, where I first, let's say, got into the experience part. And then once this was completed, I had the external internship that I could take as long as I wanted to, as long as I was ready to look for a job. And I had ability to test both mobile and web applications, which gave me, I would say, enough experience to look for a job. Meantime, I also started the career coaching part. I had assigned a mentor who helped me write my resume, create my LinkedIn, and also did a lot of like mock interviews with me to prepare me just for general questions. And also, once I started looking for a job and getting invites to the interviews, the career coach was helping me research the company, specific questions that were asked in the past. And once I got my offer, she also helped me, navigate through negotiations regarding, the benefits, the salary. So it was like a very complex process, but literally from start to end, I was prepared for each step and got a lot of support.
Okay, so you said you got in within 6 months. That is amazing. I love that. So was that after the internship, or was that just when you finished the careerist courses?
The job search itself took me 7 weeks. After I was still on my internship, I just said I am ready to start looking for a job. So, but the learning part and internship, I would say that was itself like, yeah, around, I think, 5, 6 months.
Once you got started applying to these jobs, how many interviews did you go through before you got your offer? Was it like this long drawn out process of, getting the interview? Were you given a lot of approvals, denials, and also how confident were you during these interviews? I know you mentioned you had some prep with the career coaches, so did that give you any confidence?
So I would say I had about 10 interviews with recruiters, like let's say first stage. Then from that, it turned to like, I think, four second round with like hiring managers. And one of them was in person, and the rest were mostly Zoom or phone. And the one that I had in person turned out into the offer, and I got a job. So yeah, the whole process took me about 7 weeks, but I did send a lot of applications. I did have moments when I was like, this is not going to work because what I was getting is the rejection, right? But then my career coach stepped in and she was like, just believe in yourself. You're ready. We did this with practice. You got this. It's just, market is not easy. You're not going to find a job the first day. So she did me get a lot of confidence, and that's the support I needed. And I did feel like I am prepared because when I went to all these interviews, all these questions that we practiced were asked. So I did study them. So definitely that helped. That gave me confidence, and it helped me, get the job.
Great. And you mentioned it took you 7 weeks during going through these interviews. I find that to be encouraging to those that are watching this video as well. People have mentioned that the job market is really tough, which we all know, but it does take some time in order to get through and get the yes that is out there for you. So I love that you kept pushing forward, you kept moving forward despite the challenges that you might have faced, the denials. So that just goes to show that as you persevere and you keep pushing, I always mention it to my audience, there is a yes out there for you. You might go through a lot of no's, but you will eventually land at the right opportunity that is looking specifically for the skills that you have to offer. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now that you have landed your first tech job, how did Careerist help you feel prepared? And we already kind of talked about a typical day in the life, but how did they give you confidence as you are in your role right now?
The practical part of learning, even when I had online classes, I could ask questions. And I think that helped me a lot in my everyday job because the job requires to ask questions. It requires, to get the clarification. And I think that was a big part of it that set me for success. And also the fact that I had support from other graduates, from my career coach, that made me believe that I am in the right place, and that I belong there. As you said, someone needed my specific skills, and I am ready for this and I'm doing it right. So I think that positive, support I was getting through whole process definitely helped me believe in myself, and that, helped me get through the job and get better and better every day.
I love that because you can go through the classes and learn on your own, but ultimately you need to be linked with support, with someone who is standing by your side to give you that confidence and tell you that you can do it, just like you did with Careerist. A lot of people that are watching, as soon as they hear tech, they automatically think that they need to know code, that they need to be like this math whiz. But how true is that in your experience? And what skills are actually most helpful in QA?
So for manual QA, there's no math or coding needed. I would say the key to success is good communication, curiosity, attention to the details, because that's most likely what we do. We just dig deep into the what's the issue, what's caused, and then we need to speak to other team members to get to the point whether it's a bug, it's an error, it's a fixable. So at this point, definitely like the soft skills matter. Of course, if you want to like grow, choose path that requires coding, you can always learn that. But for the beginning, definitely it's not necessary.
I love that. Thank you for telling us, because people think, okay, I need to have all of these skills under my belt. I need to go to school, get all of these different degrees, and have just a lot of technical experience. But you've confirmed that you don't necessarily need that within QA. You mentioned QA is a lot about solving problems and, like you said, problem solving, addressing different challenges and so forth. So if you're open to sharing, what is your current salary as a QA, and is your job fully remote? I know you mentioned remote, but is it hybrid or fully remote? Do you have some days that you're required to be in person? Tell us a little bit about that.
So I work in a hybrid schedule. I am going to the office once a week. I can pick whatever day I want to. And sometimes I'm needed. For example, something needs to be done right now, resolved, so I can just drive to the office. But yeah, the idea is the 4 days at home and 1 day in the office. When it comes to salary right now, it's around 75K a year.
I love that. Wonderful. And that's just starting out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And hybrid is great. A lot of people want fully remote, but I feel like hybrid personally, and I mean, you can back me up if you agree, that I feel like the model for hybrid work is great because you're able to personally get to know your coworkers, even your boss. You're able to show firsthand some of the skills that you've got instead of just being behind the computer screen at all times. You're able to feel the work environment a little bit more and enjoy the company that you're working for. Do you enjoy the hybrid model, or would you rather kind of go back to fully remote?
I like the hybrid model, specifically in the beginning, when you have to learn the whole new application. You have to
Yes.
learn the team, how it works. It's so much easier to learn when you are with someone and they show you something. You can ask the questions. It's so much easier than learning, through a Zoom or chat. So that's definitely helpful. I would say, yeah, the social part is also important. Once you build that relationship with your coworkers, it's so much easier to work together later. So yeah, I'm all in for hybrid. I like my setup. It's just a 1 day.
Yes, one
But
day, and you get to choose, which is great as well. I love that. Very flexible. I found a fun fact. According to Forbes and Career Bliss, they ranked QA as one of the happiest jobs out there. So my question to you is, do you agree? And if you do, what makes it most enjoyable for you?
yeah, I definitely agree. I'm happy with my choice. I'm not gonna lie, there are stressful days sometimes, but it's definitely easier when you do what you like, because you feel like your job is meaningful. And also the fact that it's a flexibility, there's, work from home, that even on stressful days, it's definitely take it easier to take a break, pet your dog, look at your kids or whatever.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that definitely gives different perspective and make it easier even to navigate through personal life, right? You don't have to commute. So I think that all comes to that happiness factor.
Yes, that is a great model. You're able to be fully home when you are, and that one day here, every week is great because you're able to reconnect and so forth. So I love that for you. And so that just confirms that it is one of the happiest jobs out there. And it's great that you're working a job, like you mentioned, where you don't feel like you're doing work. It's more of, you're doing work, but it doesn't feel laborious. Right. Okay. So now that you have made the leap into QA testing, what has changed? How has your life improved, both personally and professionally?
Well, I definitely learned a lot of new skills and improved the skills that I had from my learning process. I feel like I'm more confident with my skills as a QA and personally as well. I think that fact that I have a job I like, I grow, it definitely makes me happier. And, I have a clear path for my career. And also, I don't waste time on commuting, which makes me less tired, less stressed. I have more time for my family. So, overall, I see one big improvement.
I feel like that's the goal, just to have that work-life balance, to be able, like you mentioned, to still have time for the things that matter to you. I love the fact that this career path has given that to you. So many times, we take jobs that, they pay very well, but you're still having to navigate the balance of it all, of home life, work life, and social life, and so forth. So the fact that you find that within this QA career is amazing. All right, so finally, last question here. What advice would you give to someone who is still on the fence about changing careers or even signing up for a boot camp?
I would say just give it a shot. It's always hard to take the first step, but you can only grow from it. Whether if it's you gaining new skills, just test waters and see if, watch some videos. I think first two classes, you can just attend and see if this is for you. Because we all been there, started from the same point, and if you won't make that first step, you will never know whether you could succeed or not. It is a big risk. It's scary. It's scary for everyone, but I think I am an example, just like many other people, that if you put work into it, if you really want it, it's definitely achievable.
Okay, guys, so there you have it. That was the interview that I conducted with our friend Ella. It had me truly inspired and encouraged, just knowing that it's not about where you got started, but where you are going. So she used this bootcamp Careerist to truly transform her career life, and I find it really amazing, especially for those of you who are, in the trenches looking for a job, a work from home job, a remote job, maybe even an in-person job, a job that pays really well, but they want experience. So how do you get experience? Well, this is the perfect opportunity to gain that experience, have hands-on experience with an internship that looks credible on your resume and helps open up doors to work for some of the top companies looking for candidates within these different fields. So if you are interested, go ahead and check out my description box down below. I will have all the information that you need in order to at least take a look into the Careerist platform, see if it's something that you're interested in, joining as well, and completely transform your career, making more money than you have ever made before. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was really great, very fun to do. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you go ahead and give it a huge thumbs up. Share this video with someone who is in need of a little direction career-wise. Why don't you go ahead and share this video with them? This is an absolutely free resource and tool that will point them in the right direction. And subscribe on your way out, because we have so much more coming here to this platform, just like what you've seen in this video. Thank you once again for watching, and we will chat in the next video.